Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, the Face-Off, brought to you by Force Irish Stout and Or Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today, we've got the Akuma Bantamweight title fight between Eoghan Masoliver and Fufu Fares. Both men are riding a 4-fight win streak, with Eoghan picking up belts over in Wales and Fufu picking up the IMAF gold in the Europeans. Lad, this one is not to be missed, going down in Jim Bakersfield Stadium. Eoghan, going to start with yourself. How excited were you when you found out you're going to fight Fufu Fares? And tell us this, you were on an IMAF squad with him before. Will that make things awkward?
Yeah, really excited. I think it's one of the harder challenges in the Irish scene at Bantamweight. And obviously this is kind of my first real Bantamweight fight, stepping up a division from Fly. And no, I don't think it makes it awkward at all. We were only ever away once together, and even at no disrespect, but even at that, we don't really have much interaction. So I don't think it makes it awkward at all. And
Fufu, what about yourself? Eoghan Masoliver, obviously he's picked up titles over in Wales. He's constantly getting these Ws. What do you make of him as an opponent?
He's a gamed opponent. After winning the gold medal in Europeans, my biggest goal was actually, like, I'm almost, like, in my personal eyes, I'm almost done my amateur career. So I want to finish it off well, taking really tough fights. I respect Eoghan, but when that cage closes, I'm coming for his head.
Yeah, Fufu, you were saying, like, you're nearly wrapping up your amateur career. Like, how many more fights do you think you'll have as an amateur?
My personal goal, at the moment, I have 17 amateur fights. My goal is to fight Eoghan Masoliver, go to the Worlds at the end of this year, pick up the world gold medal. I'll be an amateur champ, a four-nation champ, a European champ, a world champ. I don't think I can do much more than that. So I think after that, I have to go to the pro ranks. But I'm not even looking at the pro ranks, not even looking at the world championships at the moment. It's just a long-term goal I'm thinking of. But my short-term goal right now is August 24th to beat Eoghan Masoliver.
No, it's good to hear you have a plan. Eoghan, what about yourself? Like, how long do you think you'll spend in the amateur ranks?
I'd say the end of this year, maybe start of next year, will be like my last few amateur fights. I have a fight here on Cage Conflict in November. Maybe one more after that this year. Maybe one early next year. Cage Conflict normally run a February show, and then I think that's the time to transition to professional.
Yeah, and you're obviously just recently joined Team FAI Fight Academy Ireland. How are you getting on there? And also, what type of rounds are you getting in the build-up to taking on Fufu?
Yeah, absolutely great. Pat, Shando, and Adam have all welcomed me in. Like, there was never any type of buffer stage. I was welcomed in straight away, and I'm sure you know yourself, the training is amazing. The training partners are amazing, getting a lot of rounds in with people like Paul and Tiernan, James Slavin, Damien, James Wallace, all people who have big fights coming up themselves. So there's a great environment and atmosphere in the gym right now with so many fights coming up. So really high level rounds.
Yeah, shout out to Team FAI. Fufu, how are you getting on down in Cork? And what type of rounds are you getting in the build up to taking on Eoghan?
Training SBG Cork is always good. I've a great team behind me with my brother, all my teammates, my head coach Liam. I think I'm in the right place, and I'm improving at each camp, and that's the biggest thing.
No, that's great to hear. Shout out SBG Cork. And then also in the build up to this fight, Steve was on to us from Akuma. He was like, "Look, lads, we want you to get some title fights on the show," and we were like, "Yeah, definitely." And this was one of the main ones we wanted to get on. So for people tuning in now, if you want to get tickets to the event, or if you want to buy the stream, make sure to get onto Eoghan's Instagram and Fufu's Instagram, because this fight is not to be missed. Is it, Ross?
No, it's absolutely not. These are two of the best bantamweights in the country, and two of my favorite fighters to watch in the amateur scene. I can't wait to see it. Obviously, Fufu, you're probably one of the most, if not the most experienced bantamweight in the country at the moment. Where do you feel like you hold the advantages over Eoghan in this fight?
Personally, I think I can win this fight anywhere in the cage. I don't think actually Irish MMA have seen my jiu-jitsu. I've kind of seen my wrestling. I think a lot of my fights I keep it striking, and I do, because I enjoy striking, and I do all that stuff and I love it. but I don't think anyone like in Irish MMA has seen my full game plan, my full potential of actually fighting in MMA. And I think August 24th, I'm going to show that. I just think I'm personally the better fighter here.
They don't call him Flowy Fufu for nothing. And then Owen, obviously you're 7-2, but you picked up a few belts along the way. You're probably less experienced in the cage, but you've been putting in the work behind the scenes for a long time. How do you see yourself holding the advantages over Fufu in this fight?
Yeah, I don't think the experience really has much to do with it. Like, we've both been in martial arts since we've been no age, so I might have less amateur fights than him, but before that, I have however many team fights, and at the IMAFs at junior and stuff too. So I don't think that plays a part. I feel like I'm better everywhere. Of course, I'm going to say that. Of course, he's going to say that as well. Obviously, I'm probably seen as more of a grappler, but since joining FAI, my striking has leveled up an insane amount, and I'm sure you have seen that in my past few performances. And yeah, I'm excited to show that against what I feel like is a higher level opponent, and to show the real level of my entire game.
Yeah, and for the people tuning in now as well, people are going to want to know, like, what do these lads look and see in the future? Like, where do they want to bring their careers? Is there any sort of path once you turn pro where you sort of like to bring your career on? Fufu, I'll ask you first, bud.
To be honest, I have a couple of pro scene promotions that I'm kind of eyeing up and stuff and all that stuff. I haven't really went into like actually depth into it or made a goal of that, but I do have a kind of a plan to the UFC and stuff. Of course you have to. I'm not just, I want to be in the UFC and not have a plan and have a place into it. But I haven't even really looked into that. I'm still fighting an amateur, so there's no point of moving forward and looking so far ahead.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just we know that SPG is heavily involved with Combati Global. And Owen, what about yourself? Is there any sort of promotions you'd love to compete on in the future when you turn pro?
Yeah, definitely. There's a few that I've been looking at. I love traveling, and for that reason, Brave is very appealing to me. I would love to be able to travel the world and to do what I love. That's a big goal of mine. So Brave is quite appealing, but obviously with Paul and PFL and Bellator, he is really, I feel like he's opened a lot of people's eyes. So there's obviously a few different options there in the future. But yeah, as Fufu said, I'm focused on amateur career right now. Like, there's bigger stuff in front of me right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's glad to hear. Good to hear like different answers. It goes to show the development of the MMA scene. Guys, both you guys look for the finish in all your fights, and you can see it. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's in the grappling department, you're constantly looking to advance and find that submission, or if in the striking department, you guys are constantly looking to throw some leather. Tell us this: do you believe you can get your opponent out of here? Probably one of the highest level opponents you fought in your entire amateur career. We'll start with yourself, Fufu.
I have respect for Owen. I'm not saying this that as in, I'm gonna finish him in the first round and do this. Regardless whether I finish the fight or I win by decision, when the bell hits in the first round, I'm coming for the finish. Whether it happens or not, I'm coming for the finish.
Yeah, and Owen, what about yourself, bud?
Yeah, 100%. I pride myself on being entertaining. All of my amateur fights that I have won, I have finished the fight in. I've only been to the third round once in a fight where I've won and I finished it there. I know that I always come for it. I'm always entertaining and exciting. And yeah, I 100% do believe, I feel like I will finish Fufu towards the end of the second, start of the third round.
This fight is going to be very entertaining, as both lads are always very entertaining, and two big stars on the Irish amateur MMA scene. Lads, just before we wrap things up, Owen, can you tell us who's going to be in your corner on the 24th?
Pat Chando and Adam, as far as I know.
Okay, Fufu?
As always, my brother, Ab, and my head coach, Liam.
Perfect. And lads, is there anything else you want to say to each other before you get into the cage and throw down for the Bantamweight title?
All I gotta say is, let's do this.
Yeah, that's good.
One thing I do want to say is, I know there was a pro fight on as the main event. So I personally don't know the promoter. I don't know Stephen, the promoter, like well or anything. But Stephen, if you're listening to this, there's no pro fight anymore. I think this could be a main event. Let's do it.
I think Steve's definitely listening to this, lads.
Yeah, let's do it, 100%.
Main event, Fufu, Eoghan Masoliver. Let's make it happen.
Okay, so for people tuning in, again, make sure to get onto Owen's Instagram or Fufu's Instagram because this fight is not to be missed. Ross, anything else to say before we wrap things up, bud?
No, guys, thanks a million for both your time. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait to watch this fight in person. Thanks for everyone watching at home. Make sure to show some love to Akuma. And as always, stay
energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.